In our top Washington team now, I want to start with our chief Washington correspondent, Jon Karl. A couple of headlines tonight. We just heard one from Rick. There was no red wave. Bad night for Donald Trump.
Look, we don't know if Republicans are going to win control of the House. We don't know if Republicans are going to win control of the Senate yet. But we do know this. The biggest loser last night was Donald Trump. In state after state, candidates that he brought to the race, candidates that he endorsed, got into the race, did not win or are losing right now. And look who won. There were Republicans who won and won big. In New Hampshire, you had Chris Sununu, an anti-Trump Republican who won big, even though Trump's candidate for Senate lost. In Georgia, Brian Kemp, somebody that Trump tried to get defeated in the Republican Party primary, won by double digits. And then the biggest one of all, Ron DeSantis, who did not have Donald Trump's endorsement, wins by almost 20 points in Florida.
Yeah, that was the biggest win of the night by far. Okay, Cecilia Vega, for President Biden, not as bad as the White House feared.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I got a text from one source late last night, and there were the exclamation marks kept increasingly coming as the night went on. It said, phew, they were bracing for the worst. They really thought that this would be, as the phrase we kept hearing, a bloodbath. And you even heard President Biden express that sentiment that, look, this could potentially be really bad for us. But what you're hearing from people inside the White House, Democrats in Washington, is, look, given the history, given the numbers that they were looking at potentially losing, that President Biden could potentially, assuming things carry on with the numbers that we're looking at right now, could be looking at losing fewer seats than most presidents in recent history. That, for them, is a big win. They defied expectations in their book.
And Terry Moran, election deniers won all across the country, but not in the three big key governors' races: Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Those were so close in 2016 and 20.
And denying the election was right at the forefront of those races. And so in some ways, yesterday was a day of liberation for the Republican Party. It had become a loyalty test, an article of faith, to deny the legitimacy of the 2020 election. And while plenty of them won, really in those races, those highest profile races, where it was right at the forefront, where the denial of the legitimacy of the election was one of the main reasons Republicans were on the ballot, they lost. And so not only is Donald Trump the loser, but there is a kind of moment for the Republicans to shed that.
And I wonder what this means, Jon Karl, for Kevin McCarthy. He came out around 2 in the morning and said, yes, Republicans are going to control the House. That is likely, but not by the margin that they expected. Could he face a challenge for Speaker?
I don't see who would challenge him, but look, Republicans were gearing up for a big win in the House. McCarthy thought that he would have a majority of 15, maybe 20 seats. Like you said, they may well win control of the House. They probably win control of the House. It'll be a much narrower majority, perhaps only 5 or 10 seats. It's going to be hard for McCarthy to govern, but I don't see who can challenge him for Speaker. I still think he will be the Speaker.
And one of the big questions, Cecilia, none of us know for sure, but what does House Speaker Nancy Pelosi do in the wake of this election?
Exactly. What does she do? Because she had given, sort of raised the prospect of perhaps, given what had happened to her husband and that attack on him, that she wasn't sure was going to happen, whether she decides to keep going and pushing forward with her role in Congress. So we will wait to see. And I think also the big question, George, what is President Biden going to do regarding 2020? He was going to wait to see 2024. He was waiting to see what happens with these midterms yesterday. So now the big question for him is what next?
That is a huge question. Thank you all very much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.